The tension in the air after that October game was thick enough to cut with a knife. Cameras caught Mike Vrabel's words, sharp, deliberate, and dripping with quiet disdain, as he muttered, "We got to take care of the ball better and continue to find opportunities." They hadn't turned it over. And then when their gimmick plays ran out, I thought we played pretty good defense. For a league that thrives on pride, ego, and performance, those few sentences sent shockwaves through the NFL. Because beneath that calm delivery was a jab heard around the football world, a direct hit at Kevin Stefanski, the man steering the Cleveland Browns straight into controversy. Vrabel wasn't just analyzing a game. He was calling out what he saw as the biggest lie in Cleveland. A head coach surviving on smoke, mirrors, and scripted plays. The game itself felt like a metaphor for the Browns' entire season. All hype in the beginning, all heartbreak by the end. Cleveland's offense looked alive early, polished even. They marched down the field in that first quarter like a team that had finally figured it out, executing crisp passes, running strong routes, and finishing the drive with an early touchdown that gave fans a fleeting moment of belief. But anyone who's followed this team long enough could see it for what it was, a perfectly rehearsed opening act. The kind of drive every coach draws up in practice a dozen times until it looks seamless, only for reality to shatter it once the script ends. By the second quarter, the illusion had already started to crumble. The rhythm vanished. The creativity disappeared. Every call looked predictable, every pass forced. It was as if the Browns' playbook had a single page, and the Patriots, coached by men who lived to dissect weaknesses, had already memorized it. That's when Mike Vrabel's comments cut deeper than gossip. They became truth. Gimmick plays, that's what he called them. And as much as Cleveland fans might hate to admit it, he wasn't wrong. For years, Kevin Stefanski has walked a fine line between being seen as a strategic mind and a man hiding behind complexity. To some, he's a misunderstood genius. To others, he's a coach obsessed with control, unwilling to adapt when his system fails. But this game exposed him again, not because of a bad throw or a missed tackle, but because the pattern has become painfully familiar. A few early sparks followed by confusion, miscommunication, and defeat. And if the murmurs in Cleveland are any indication, fans have had enough. Across talk shows and social media, the same sentiment echoed, "Stefanski isn't just making mistakes, he's losing the locker room." And nowhere is that clearer than in the handling of his quarterbacks. The decision to bench Shedeur Sanders in favor of rookie Dillon Gabriel felt like gasoline poured on an already burning fan base. Cleveland's loyal supporters have seen questionable play calling before, but this was personal. Shedeur, known for his poise, arm strength, and on-field IQ, had given the team consistency and belief. He wasn't perfect, but he was confident. The kind of quarterback that gives fans hope. So why bench him for a rookie still finding his footing? Sure, Gabriel had his moment. That first quarter touchdown showed promise. Clean mechanics, sharp accuracy, a textbook execution of a scripted drive. But once the defense adjusted, the rookie's inexperience surfaced like cracks in thin ice. Missed reads, turnovers, even a safety, all piling up until the whispers turned into outrage. And through it all, Stefanski stood unmoved, defending his choice as if loyalty to his system mattered more than loyalty to results. Fans and analysts began asking the question no one wanted to say out loud. Does Kevin Stefanski have a problem with Shedeur Sanders? Because this wasn't just a coaching decision, it was a statement. A message that no matter how much promise Shedeur showed, he wasn't Stefanski's guy. That kind of bias, intentional or not, poisons a locker room faster than any losing streak. And when Mike Vrabel's gimmick coach remark started circulating, it hit like a hammer, not just because it was disrespectful, but because it rang true to too many ears. The Cleveland sports media tried to keep it balanced. Local stations like 92. The Fan defended Stefanski's reasoning, framing it as a strategic move, a long-term play, or even a necessary reset. But fans weren't buying it. The comment sections, call-in shows, and social feeds told a different story, one of frustration, fatigue, and a growing sense that the Browns were once again sabotaging their own potential. The team wasn't just losing games, it was losing identity, and what made it worse was how scripted everything suddenly felt. The same commentators defending the coach sounded like they were reading from the same teleprompter. One host hated Shedeur, another defended him, and the pattern repeated like clockwork. It didn't feel organic. It felt controlled. A narrative shaped to protect a coach whose seat is getting hotter by the week. Fans aren't stupid. They can smell PR spin from a mile away. Meanwhile, Vrabel's words hung in the background, echoing louder with each passing day. Every time the Browns stumbled, every time the offense fell flat, his gimmick plays jab felt more prophetic. It wasn't just trash talk, it was a diagnosis. And the worst part? Cleveland's leadership hasn't done much to prove him wrong. The same issues keep surfacing: uninspired play calling, misplaced loyalty, and a stubborn refusal to evolve. But if there's one thing the NFL teaches us every year, it's that pressure changes everything. The whispers about Stefanski's job aren't whispers anymore. They're headlines. Analysts are already debating who could replace him if things don't turn around. Because one thing is clear: Cleveland is running out of patience. The Browns have talent, a roster capable of greatness, but without vision, talent turns to waste. And right now, Kevin Stefanski's vision feels foggier than ever. The irony in all this is that Vrabel's comment, likely meant as a one-off jab, might end up being the spark that exposes something deeper in Cleveland. The kind of internal dysfunction that fans have feared for years. Because when a coach starts losing trust from his players, his fans, and the media, the spiral is hard to stop. One game becomes two become five, and soon the season's gone before anyone realizes it. And yet, amidst the chaos, one truth keeps resurfacing. Shedeur Sanders deserves better. Not just as a quarterback, but as a symbol of what this franchise could be if it stopped getting in its own way. He's young, composed, and built for pressure, exactly the kind of player who should be nurtured, not benched. But until the leadership in Cleveland acknowledges that, until Stefanski either evolves or exits, the Browns will keep reliving the same story. Promising beginnings, predictable collapses, and a fan base left wondering what could have been. So maybe Mike Vrabel didn't just throw shade. Maybe he held up a mirror. And what Cleveland saw staring back wasn't pretty. A talented team trapped in mediocrity, led by a coach too proud to change. The only question left now is how long before someone finally breaks the cycle. If you made it this far, let me know what you think. Was Vrabel out of line, or was he just saying what everyone else was already thinking? Is Kevin Stefanski really a gimmick coach, or just a misunderstood one fighting to stay relevant? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the biggest dramas shaking the NFL. Because if Cleveland doesn't fix this soon, trust me, the next chapter is going to be even messier.